Legend of Total War here, and I just want to do a bit of a quick channel update with you guys, just to let you guys know exactly what's going on and what direction I want to take this channel in 2017. So, in order to sort of come to this sort of the structure that I want to have for 2017, I really had to go back to 2016, have a look at my content, and evaluate what the fuck went wrong. Now, I'm sure some of you will straight away say, "What? Nothing went wrong in 2016. I loved all of your content." You don't have the back-end analytics that I do, okay? When I have a look at it as a whole, look at the trends, look at the numbers, okay, it was heading downhill pretty badly. I really wanted to turn that around, and I've been able to address what exactly the issues are, and there were definitely issues. To sit there and say that 2016 was a perfect Legend of Total War year is a fucking lie. I made a lot of mistakes. First big mistake I made was having way too many campaigns running at once. At one point, I think we had 16 or 18 campaigns concurrently running. That's just totally bonkers. We're not ever going to have that again. I think the problem was that I like to play a lot of game, and I just recorded a shit ton of content before Total War Warhammer came out. So I already had like 8 campaigns currently running, and then Total War Warhammer came out, as in early access for me, and I was given access to 4 or 5 campaigns because I wasn't given early access to Chaos. I was given early access to the other ones, and whenever if you're a YouTuber and you're in a position of power, essentially, where you've got early access to something, this is going to be when the embargo drops. That is to say, when you're able to release that first episode. No matter what you do, you're gonna pretty much be guaranteed a lot of views and subscribers. And so what I decided to do was just spam the fuck out of it, and try to hit the core tags, being dwarves, vampires, greenskins, Empire, and just have 4 campaigns running at the same time. But the problem is that in order to do them, I had to record very quickly, and because I was playing it like 10 hours a day, trying to ride this hype, my commentary was really starting to suffer. And so this was an opportunity for people who were completely unfamiliar with my content to get a look at what I'm like as a person. And when they saw these campaigns, they weren't familiar that I had already played 300 hours in early access before I recorded my first episode. They didn't know about that. And so they saw a guy who was pissed off with a game that hadn't even been released yet. It's like, what a cranky dickhead. He's got early access and he's bitching about the game. And I realized just how silly that was, in hindsight now. So, I mean, when I get early access to something, I definitely will, play around with it a little bit, like I did with Bretonnia, before doing the Grand Campaign. But to compare what I did with Bretonnia, which I think I handled that correctly, the way I should have handled it, and comparing it, say, with Empire Campaign for, very at the early start, because we only just finished releasing that campaign, but I had recorded that majority of it in early access. So comparing it is that I had already completely finished an Empire campaign before starting that one. So I'd already gone through it completely. But when I did Bretonnia, I didn't go through it completely. I played 50 turns of it. I just wanted to know where all their shit was, where all their units are, get an idea of how they perform on the campaign map, and then that's about it. I didn't defeat Chaos. I didn't do the errantry wars. Didn't finish any of that stuff. I just wanted to get an idea of how the faction plays. And I did it on normal difficulty because I didn't want to get bogged down on really long battles. I just wanted to get an idea of what it was like. And then the real campaign started. I felt like it was still fresh because it was just a practice campaign, sort of like a tutorial for me. And then I was able to go through it without completely bitching, moaning, and complaining the entire time. And the great thing about that campaign as well is that because of using the new format, that campaign only lasts for 13 episodes. Now, just a bit of a spoiler alert there. So there's only 13 episodes in the Bretonnia campaign. But then we look towards the Empire campaign. I had already gone through it completely once. I'd already gone through all these other factions as well, all within like the same week. And then here I am going through it again on Legendary difficulty, and I'm going for whole map completion. I just overworked myself. And in addition to that, it was 41 episodes long. And after episode 5, people had lost interest in it. For the majority part. And so, ended up with 30-odd episodes of trash. Whereas, with the Bretonia one, none of the episodes are trash. I mean, yeah, views drop off naturally after episode 5. That always happens. But at least we don't have 41 episodes of it now, with me complaining about people dropping, not watching anymore. So the new format has worked really well. I know I began that sort of late last year, but I think introducing the new format is an area in which my channel has really benefited from. Now, I know that there's been a few people that don't like the new format, that like to see every single strategic decision that I make, but you gotta understand that it was killing the channel. If I had kept going that way, I'm just not getting with the times. People want to be fucking snappy with this shit. Get onto the point. Get to the fucking end game. And they don't want to have to watch 40 hours worth of filler to get to the end game. And the new format reduces the amount of filler by a lot. And that's great. And it also means that, it gives me a break between recording, so I can sit there and actually just do it at my own pace. Sit there and not have to be constantly going in my mind going, gotta keep moving, gotta keep it at a fast pace, I gotta keep commenting on stuff. I can just sit there and look at something for 5 minutes and just read all the stuff about it when I've got the recording pause, and it's better for me to do it that way rather than just rush through, read it through really quickly, and then of course I make loads of mistakes. Anyway, so not every campaign will have the new format, but most of them will, especially the later Total Wars. So probably everything from like Empire Total War onwards are pretty much guaranteed to use the new format from now on. Medieval 2 and Rome 1 probably won't use it for the majority of the campaigns, just because they don't tend to drag on that much, unless it's like Stainless Steel 6.4. But, Stainless Steel 6.4, I enjoy that game so much that you can somewhat justify not using the new format for that anyway. And I know sometimes it might seem like I'm not enjoying it, because every campaign, every game that I play, I bitch about in some degree. Just because I'm overly critical. I'm very focused on the negatives. Just because I want it. I'm a control freak. I like everything the way I want it to be. And if it's not the way I want it to be, then I get fucking angry. And there's no game where I get to have my way 100% of the time. The problem is, it happens more, I get more angry with the later Total Wars than I do with the earlier ones, as in Rome 1 and Medieval 2. Just because there's so much more control in those games, I feel. Another thing that I want to talk about is in regard to multiplayer. Competitive multiplayer, I should say. I've mentioned sometimes in the comments, or responded to some comments saying that I'm really not going to be focusing on multiplayer at all this year. I really need to rephrase that and elaborate more on that. I don't want to focus on competitive multiplayer this year. I did a lot of it last year and it really made me quite unhappy. Well, unhappy is a strong word. I should say it stressed me out and I didn't enjoy it. My conflicts with Ninja Hunt, the tournaments, the back end of that stuff is really not pleasant for me, because when it comes to tournaments, you can approach it one of two ways. You can either not practice at all and get knocked out in the first round, or you can do what I did and practice like a fucking madman for weeks on end and then do really well in the tournament. But then nobody gives a shit when you win anyway. So I found the whole competitive multiplayer scene very unrewarding. High stress, low reward. And the Aspiring Champions League that I did participated in back in, when was it? A few weeks back. That was sort of a test to see if I would enjoy a tournament despite not practicing. And I was like, not really. Because I didn't practice before going into that, not much anyway. That's why I did so badly against Wood Elves, because I had not gone up against Wood Elves players prior to that, so I had no idea how to deal with them. And when I go up against somebody that I don't know what I'm dealing with, I start to get very angry. And that's what happened. So in regard to, because details for the next Aspiring Champions League has come out, and I just want to, make a statement to say that I'm not going to participate in that tournament, just because I want to take a bit of a break from competitive multiplayer. I want to get my other content under control first, before I start moving on to something which I don't even really like that much anyway. Now that's not to say we're not going to be doing any multiplayer. And that sort of brings me into part 3 of this sort of channel update. I definitely want to be doing multiplayer, but I would rather do friendly matches with you guys or with other YouTubers. I don't want to play in this competitive scene anymore. I just don't like it. And I find the most enjoyable way to do that is during my Twitch live streams, which I'm now doing every Sunday. So I've made a commitment now to do it every Sunday. I'm not partnered with Twitch yet, but if I do it every Sunday, it'll bound to happen sooner or later. So follow me on Twitch, channel whatever, Legend of Total War. It should be fucking easy to find me. People always like, oh, you didn't post the link, didn't post the your link in the description. I don't fucking need to. Just Google it, you dumb shit. Okay, it's like the easiest thing in the world to do. You can either click a button or just write Legend of Total War. You know, it's not hard to type. But you know, I'll leave links in the description. Not in this episode, but when I'm doing my videos for to let you guys know I'm going to be live streaming. So there will be a live stream this Sunday as well. I don't know exactly what time I do it because I got other shit to do on Sundays. So I just get that shit done first, then I go, okay, time to live stream. And the thing is, I usually live stream for about 4.5 hours. So if you miss the first 20 minutes, don't worry, you can still catch up. And in fact, usually around the middle of the live stream is where things really get interesting. Now, in regard to that, I just want to address last week's live stream. I honestly think that live stream was actually one of the best live streams we've ever done because of one particular thing. It was something that new that we've never done before, and that I actually kind of enjoyed it. Where you guys bribed me to have an Aboriginal accent during a battle, and you basically put down bets to see if I could still win it despite concentrating on my Aboriginal accent. And it was really funny, I thought. I mean, looking back on the comments of it, most of you, I mean, some people probably found it offensive, but that's always going to be the case. I don't really give a shit. Most of you were like in stitches. At least you were typing, so I mean, I can't see you at your end. And that I really enjoyed that. I like to make you guys laugh. Especially doing something that, if I was watching it, would probably make me laugh as well. So I really want to do more of that kind of lighthearted, just more of that goofing around shit, you know? It's fun to goof around. But doing always the most difficult challenge, you know, oh, I'm going to do another peasant campaign on this game, then I'm going to do the peasant campaign on this game. It puts you in a really negative mood because it's just such a shit campaign to do. No one in the fucking world would go, what do I want to do today? I'm going to play Medieval 2 and only hire peasants. That's why nobody else has done it. Because people think to themselves, that's just fucking insane, just because it's so boring. And the peasant campaign is one of the most requested campaigns that I pick back up on, and I have stated this many times. That campaign is cancelled. Now, I finished recording that campaign. I've still got the footage, but I'm cancelling it because it was such a shit campaign to go through, and I didn't do all my commentary. It was a learning experience early on, early for the channel thing. It helped me build form into what I'm going to be. But yeah, not going to continue that peasant campaign. I'm not saying I'm never going to do another peasant campaign. I might pick it back up again in the future, but I would have to be in a really positive frame of mind to even think about going back into it, because that campaign pushed me to my limits in regard to not like skill wise, but just not fucking putting a bullet through my brain, because that was just such a boring campaign to do. But anyway. So I guess we'll just leave it there. This week's live stream will be on Sunday, but also I did say last week that I was going to probably play Hearts of Iron 4 again, but I'm sort of thinking I don't really feel like playing Hearts of Iron 4 this week. I've been playing a bit of Conan Exiles lately. If you don't know what that game is, fucking Google it. But if you guys wanted to come and play with me, I'm on official server 98. I think I might do a bit of live streaming on that on Sunday. Basically, it's a survival game. It's so much less stress than Ark. And it's a fairly deserted server. It's got like no lag or anything like that. And it doesn't seem to just take over my life like the way Ark did. So I thought we might do a bit of live streaming on that to begin with. And then if you guys find it a bit boring, then we'll probably move on to Hearts of Iron 4 after that. But anyway, we'll see how we go. I do sort of take the comments into consideration with that. Oh, there is one more topic as well. I do often get a lot of messages from you guys, especially privately, like on Facebook, asking for me to do tutorials. And I have often said, don't give me suggestions, don't give me recommendations, don't give me challenges, things like that. And I've said this so many times before, it's because I plan my content quite far in advance. And there's many factors that I need to think about before doing a campaign. Is this campaign going to be enjoyable for my subscribers? Am I going to get a lot of views out of it? And is this going to be 100 episodes? And most importantly, am I going to enjoy it? And when you guys offer me these campaign challenges, when I've done them in the past, and a very long time ago, I've never really enjoyed them. And so that's the main reason why I say to people, please don't... It's nothing against you guys, but I like to set my own campaigns. Now, in regard to tutorial videos, I think I made like 1 or 2 tutorial videos last year, but to be honest, unless it's specifically me taking the piss out of something, I'm not going to be doing tutorial videos ever, because that's not the kind of audience I want to attract. I am the single-player campaign guide, the foul-mouthed, short-tempered Aussie. That's who I am. I'm not Pixelated Apollo, I'm not Heir of Carthage, I'm not Lionheart, I'm not Warrior of Sparta, I'm not Alex the Rambler, I'm not any of those guys. I'm not Jackie Fish, I'm not Malik Ascati, I'm not Surreal Beliefs. I'm Legend of Total War, and that's how I fucking roll. I'm short-tempered, and I do single-player campaigns, and that's my best content, and that's where most of my views come from, that's where most of the people subscribe from, and I don't want to bring people in on the false premise of, hey look, I'm a tutorial channel, and then go 90%, 99% of my content after that is me being a dickhead on single player campaign. So I just don't even want to deal with the tutorials. There are other people doing tutorial videos anyway that I couldn't compete with. They put so much more production value into it than I could really ever bother to do anyway, so it just doesn't matter. And in addition to that, the way I play should not be a tutorial, because nearly nobody plays the way I do anyway. So if I was to say, okay, this is how you play Total War Warhammer, first thing, you spam Swordman and then auto-resolve all of your battles, and that's how you beat Legendary difficulty. I don't think that's going to go down very well, because that's basically the extent of my tutorial. But something like an exploit guide, that's different. I don't know, I might do another one of those some way down the track, because I actually do know a lot more Medieval 2 exploits now, but I can't be bothered to do it. I'd rather just play the game. Anyway, I'll leave it at that, and hopefully more single-player content, doing more stuff on Twitch. Hopefully you guys will be enjoying it. More interesting content will be coming soon. Anyway, see you next time, fuckers.